All right, moving on to today's slate. In today's episode, we'll be going over three games. First game of the day, it's an early game, 2 o'clock Eastern time game. We got the Reds taking on the Brewers. Right now, Milwaukee is leading the season series 10-8. Odds for this game, basically a pick 'em on DraftKings. You can find Cincinnati at -105, Milwaukee Brewers, you could get them at -115. Abhishek, the first game, it's an early game, 2:10 Eastern time game. Who you got, man? Reds or Brewers?
I'm gonna be honest here. I don't like today's slate that much. It's kind of like Mondays, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta pick the games. Gotta review the games. Gotta find a winner somewhere. So let's try here. Reds and Brewers, as Arun mentioned, the Brewers won the first two games of this series the past 2 days. The Reds are in the playoffs as of right now. The Padres keep losing, and the Reds have lost the last two, but so have the Padres, which is why the Reds still are right there, one game advantage over the Padres. They need to try to lengthen the gap between them and the Padres, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure they'll tell you the same thing. Let's get into the matchup today. Sonny Gray versus Brent Anderson for the Reds. Right, as I mentioned in the playoffs right now, lost the last two to Milwaukee. Gray has looked better than earlier this season. He struggled early on, then he got hurt, then he came back, then he got hurt again, and now he's back, and he's looked more like himself. He hasn't been dominant. He hasn't been like what he was last year, but he's still been pretty solid recently. He's giving his team a chance to win. And in the last two seasons that he's pitched against the Brewers, 3.4 ERA, 3 runs allowed per start, basically, is what that means. And that's solid. It's not fantastic. It's solid. He's giving his team a chance to win. Now we get to the Brewers. They're 8-2 in their last 10, won 4 straight. They're clearly the cream of the crop of this division. They're going to win the division. They have nothing to worry about, in my opinion. The Reds are 9 games behind them. I don't see any way. The Brewers are – there's no way, in my opinion, they're going to lose a division title. So they don't got to worry about that. Now we get into the pitching matchup for them. Brent Anderson, he was on a hot streak like a couple of weeks ago, 5 starts around. He was doing pretty damn good. But now, recently, it has turned back to like how he would usually pitch. He's a so-so pitcher. He's hit or miss, and that's exactly what we're getting now. He's been struggling. His last 3 starts, the Brewers have lost. They've lost all 3 of them. And the concerning part about it is that in those 3 starts, 2 of them were against teams that are awful. The Washington Nationals and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Those games weren't even competitive. He lost both those starts. So if you're going up against those 2 teams and you can't get them out, the Reds, I understand the Reds aren't the best team against lefty pitchers. That's the one advantage I'll give Anderson. He's a lefty. But the Reds are a playoff team. They can explode any moment on anybody. So I think if -105, they're basically saying the Reds are the underdog. I understand Arun mentioned pick 'em, and that's you can basically say pick 'em, yeah. So if we were going to lean towards any side here, I think it'd be the Cincinnati Reds.